Hi folks, this is your NWIS Planning Outlook with the details into the weekend and beyond. The general weather pattern at the moment through this week sees lower than average pressure on the chart, so things are rather unsettled for this week ahead. The position of low pressure generally becoming focused just to the east of us, and that opens the door to some chillier air coming around from the north-northwest, and there will be some fluctuations through the days ahead in terms of temperatures, but expect some rather cold conditions and something of a wintry flavour over the mountains. The temperature across the Scottish mountains will be near to freezing point even over the next couple of days, but just looking at the freezing level chart for Friday into Saturday, Friday here is shown to be around 1200 metres, so still just the highest of tops, and it may just rise slightly during the daytime. But by Friday evening and night, as colder air comes down from the north, that level could well drop quite a bit more, and you're down to around 800 metres early on Saturday for a good part of the Highlands, could be locally lower for a time, and generally down towards 1,000 metres across England and Wales, which puts it very close to the highest tops in the Lake District and also onto the highest tops in North Wales, and that level is expected to be similar into Sunday. There will be some showers and maybe some more organised precipitation at times in the mix, and over the higher mountains that will fall as some snow. Some showers may have some hail in the mix as well. This forecast modelled snow depth situation for Saturday does look rather precious, but it does pick out at least a dusting of snow across the higher Cairngorms to the tune of a couple of centimetres or so, and a dusting I would expect on the higher tops elsewhere in Scotland. This model chart has too coarse a resolution to pick out the detail of those pointy mountain tops, so it's not really seeing anything, but I would expect there to be at least something, but don't get too excited in terms of depths at this time. Let's have a look at the sequence for the next few days, and Wednesday puts us sort of betwixt and between weather patterns really, and a reasonable day but still some showers in the forecast, particularly across more western coastal regions, not as heavy and as extensive as on Tuesday though. Still quite windy across the north of the Highlands. That wind will tend to ease down, strongest first thing in the morning, lighter winds further southwards through into England and Wales. A developing weather system out toward the southwest is expected to arrive into the evening, and that could bring some extensive heavy rain across more central and southern parts of Britain. I'll run that sequence through for you, and there is still some uncertainty with quite a complicated weather pattern then with these various centres of low pressure around. This takes us through into Wednesday evening on one of the forecast models. There are some indications that rain could be even further north across Wales and the Midlands to reach the Peak District, maybe even further up the Pennines as we head through into the early hours of Thursday. This is going forwards in 3-hour time steps. The main centre of the low and its activity is further southeast, largely avoiding Scotland, which could well have some clear skies and some frost first thing on Thursday morning with light winds here. The risk of gales around the centre of that low, which could just affect the Peak District and the Pennines to take us into Thursday morning. Windy too across Wales, and an area of rain pulling away eastwards. That could hang around though just toward the Pennines for a few hours, and showers will pull into Wales on that strong north-northwesterly. The centre of low pressure just off to the west of Scotland is trying to push in as well, and that will drag showers onto the west coast, merging into some more organised precipitation, mostly rain, some hail possible in heavier showers, and turning to sleet and snow on the higher of Munros. Could just be that more central and eastern parts of the Highlands gets away with a decent day with mostly dry conditions. Just watch things may be deteriorating, particularly in terms of wind, as that centre of low pressure out to the west just tries to draw further in with time, and generally those winds will stay strong or strengthen further across England and Wales as west by northwesterlies, remaining showery here. Again, uncertainty in exact detail into Friday, but the wind pattern is pulling round more northerly by this time into Scotland, and a zone of showery activity, maybe more organised rain, affecting Wales and northern parts of England as that moves southwards. Showers coming into northern Scotland will increasingly turn to snow then over the mountain tops through later Friday, and northerly winds look like strengthening as well, so be prepared for significant wind chill factor by this time, and that will be a story that takes us onwards into the weekend. Low pressure is expected to be centred then just to the east-northeast of us, and that's the cold northerly pattern that's in charge. Frequent showers could well affect the northern parts of Scotland with some snow and some hail over the mountains. Some bands of showers running down the Irish Sea scattered into Wales as well, and again these could fall as some snow on the very highest of tops in North Wales. Down the spine of the country, from central Scotland down the Pennines into the Lake District, could well get away with largely dry conditions with just scattered showers and good sunny spells, but a strong north-northwesterly wind will feel bitterly cold. So again, do be prepared for that significant chill factor. Complications in the weekend forecast really centre around small-scale features that could just pull southwards within the flow, one of which is shown modelled here just off to the northwest of Ireland. If that gets drawn more into the mix, then there's the possibility of some more organised precipitation pulling through on that northwesterly flow, and likewise the frontal feature to the northeast of Scotland could also get drawn in for some more constant falls of rain and upland snow into more northern mountains in the Highlands. So there's a few question marks of detail for this weekend. Just to move that on into Sunday's chart, and again, this isn't absolutely set in stone for pure detail, but the general message of a north-northwesterly wind remaining strong with showers in the forecast, and again, just the chance of something a bit more organised if one of these small-scale frontal features just moves southwards. So showers, or locally the risk of some more frequent rain and upland snow, and does stay windy and cold throughout. It could just be by the end of the weekend that north-northwesterly starts to tip back more to an Atlantic west by northwesterly for slightly less cold conditions to end the weekend. Over a few days forwards into next week, then we may just be fluctuating between north-northwesterlies and west-northwesterlies, with high pressure trying to nudge in as a brief ridge from the Atlantic to settle things down temporarily around Monday into Tuesday. Looks more likely Tuesday that sees just the better conditions extending southwards. That could get in a bit sooner across Scotland, but there's some further fronts over the Atlantic trying to push in, so any window of dry weather is relatively short-lived as some further rain comes in, and by this time temperatures just looking a bit milder with that westerly flow coming through and staying rather blustery across Scottish mountains. Confidence of detail then beyond midweek gets really quite low as various weather systems will be moving around. If anything, we're trying to go back more southwesterly, so a relatively mild pattern, but still a rather unsettled Atlantic influence with further weather systems, wind and rain, and the risk of gales never too far away, but just watch detail this far ahead. The story into the first week or 10 days of November doesn't offer us too much on this chart in terms of the pressure pattern being near to average, which essentially would mean we'd expect more of a westerly influence. There's some high pressure shown to be away well to the south, there's some high pressure shown to be up towards Greenland, but I think at that time just a mixed Atlantic westerly would be expected, with the trend thought to be towards the middle of the month that higher pressure shows some signs of just expanding a bit, and that could push further across the country for some quieter anticyclonic dry weather towards the middle of the month. The scope then further ahead, a long way further ahead for some inversion conditions, but that is a long way down the line, nearly a month ahead in the forecast, so treat that with a lot of caution. In the short term at least, make sure you've got those winter layers ready for the weekend. All your local details as always can be found on our website. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.